Welcome to Synthaholics. We're back, I think.
We are?
Possibly. I don't even know. I don't even know at this point. But I am David, and with me as
I'm
always,
Brian.
Brian. Hey,
This is we're not. We haven't been here because it's David's fault.
it's all my fault. Life has been life, and I mean,
Sometimes you don't have
you
time.
probably didn't really see my background before, but I have moved, and
Yes.
we have a gamery centric game room now instead of just gaming in the kitchen / living room where we used to do the podcast at the old apartment. So we've moved, we're more or less settled. Brian helped his friend move. Joe,
Everybody's just
like,
moving around.
moving. Some people have different moving level skill points assigned than others.
The skill tree the skill tree varies
The skill tree for moving does vary, it seems. So
significantly. You wouldn't think it would vary, but sometimes there are significant differences in where these points are allocated.
Yeah, Brian has helped me move, and he's helped his other friend move. He's like, dude, I will help you move any day of the week compared to helping my other friend move. So it's like, yes, I if I've done anything right in my life, apparently I've at least put the right points into the.
You're a high level mover. You're a professional mover.
Oh, I don't want to be a professional mover. It's absolute misery moving.
Well, David, we're back, and we've been trying to figure out. Well, we haven't actually put too much thought into what we should podcast on, because we do have a lot of stuff in the tank that we do want to podcast on. It's just what order and when should we do it and when should we watch it, that type of stuff, because we want to be like topical, but like sometimes we're not topical. We think our sweet spot is normally where normally if something just comes out on like a Friday and then we can podcast it the following day, that's probably the most ideal thing. But what ends up happening most of the time is something will come out and then we'll podcast it on like 6 months later when nobody's talking about it.
Well, it's just kind of how it goes. But like The Boys worked out really good. We've had over 700 views on The Boys. So I mean, on YouTube specifically. So yeah,
well, I don't know when The Boys ended, but we were pretty close to podcasting.
We were sort of timely on that, but I mean, we weren't super timely on Furiosa, and that shows that it's 27 views. So things vary. We're learning, and we're trying to work our way to getting more viewership. And of course, as soon as we had one that hit a pretty good number, I had to start moving.
None of us could podcast.
Yeah, between all sorts of real life stuff. But theoretically, we're back more or less regular schedule. So this week
we're doing Invincible
season 2.
Yes. So we're doing a lot. We're gonna just do superhero stuff from here on out. The Boys, Invincible, whatever the heck, another superhero movie.
So we're gonna go back and watch Ant-Man Quantumania a year after it's come out.
Listen, if you want to come here to listen to us talk about Marvel movies, you're in the wrong place. I don't know if we'll ever do another Marvel movie. Maybe one day, but I don't have any plans for it. Maybe you're actually, you kind of wanted to do Deadpool a little bit, didn't you?
I did. It's weird. It's like I feel like it's meh. Like people seem to like it because it made a lot of money, but I mean, Avatar,
it's Ryan Reynolds. People like Ryan Reynolds.
Avatar made a lot of money too, and no one's talking about Avatar anymore.
Well, we all should be talking about Avatar more. I pray to Avatar. I pray to Awa once a week.
Awa? Isn't Anubis gonna get jealous?
Anubis might get jealous. Those are my two gods, Anubis and Awa. So, David, Invincible. We're reeling it in. We watched Invincible. We both really liked season 1. David, did you like season 2? What did you think of season 2 Invincible?
Yeah, season 2 was a solid season of television. Invincible season 1 was just such a surprise, and
unexpected.
It was unexpectedly
good.
Yeah, it was unexpectedly good and unexpectedly violent, because like the first episode of season 1 was like la da da da. It's like superhero. It looked like pretty PG, and then like the last 10 minutes, it's like
it's just like killing everybody.
This is
one guy kills the entire Justice League or whatever the heck they call it.
They surprised you, and then like the last episode of season 1 was also like pretty epic, and surprising. And season 2 doesn't have that. I mean, I guess you can't like do the same surprise twice, but like it felt less big or less surprising to me. I'm not saying it's bad. They had some funny moments, and this is probably the least annoying multiverse story that's happened in the past decade. So yeah, I give this like a solid like 7.5. You know, it wasn't bad. I definitely didn't dislike it, but it also like didn't hit the highs of season 1 for me personally. What about you, Brian?
Well, you copied me with your number, man. I thought I was gonna be alone with that number, dude.
What were you thinking I was gonna give?
I thought you were gonna. I was debating whether or not you were gonna give it a 6 or you were gonna give it an 8. I didn't think you were gonna go 7.5 or 7. I thought maybe 7. I'm also giving a 7.5 for a lot of the reasons you said, but as you said, for the first season, it was a surprise, and it just kind of came out of nowhere. Like that, like you said, the first episode and the last episode were just like, oh my god, what? This is amazing. This season is definitely more focused on developing the story, more developing the characters, because we are getting other seasons, and we don't know a lot about Viltrumites or Viltrum or whatever the heck the name of their planet is.
Yeah.
And that's definitely going to be the big bad for the whole show. So anything that's not Viltrum related is going to be kind of like a side thing, and that's where most of this season kind of was. There's don't get me wrong, Omni-Man and other Viltrumites were in this show, but it felt like they would spend like 2 episodes dealing with the Mars guy that has all those bugs. Or not the bugs, whatever those the things that like took them over on the spaceship. Or there was a lot of like side stuff that happened. We're not just focused fully on Viltrum yet. I will get there, and I think these side things will get sorted. But it's a character development season. I still enjoyed it. 7.5.
Yeah, it's definitely a character development season. But like that being said, like on a show that has like it was like 2 or 3 years in between seasons. Like seasons like are
long.
I mean, animation seasons take a long time in general, but like
it's harder. I think animation's generally harder than just normal like filming. I would imagine.
Someone who's learning 3D animation in my very little spare time, animation is extremely difficult.
Yeah,
and like it is absolutely insane how much work it takes to do so very little animation, even in 3D animation, which is what I'm trying to learn. Where the computer, kind of does some of the work for you, but I mean, the computer also just does a straight line. So like, you still have to make so much intervention to make the animation do what you want it to do. And then this is like traditional hand-drawn animation, which also just like it's just a giant time sink. You gotta do everything.
So this season had a couple surprises, not as the same level as season 1. But the ones that come to mind are Alan is the one-eyed bug, and the leader of that
Alan the alien.
Alan the alien, yeah, he's one of my favorite characters. But that like squad that he's in, the guy secretly was a Viltrumite. That was one of the big reveals.
Optimus Prime was a Viltrumite. I had no idea Optimus Prime. That explains Optimus Prime so much.
Optimus Prime, and the other one is I think it was episode 3 or 4 when Invincible goes to the planet with the bugs, and his dad is just like the leader of that planet. That was probably the biggest surprise of the season, where he just like rolls up on this bug planet and he's like, "Hello, son. Hello, Mark."
It's a good thing that bug's private parts doesn't have a pincer to cut off his.
Yeah, I don't know what's going. How do you? It doesn't need to make sense.
Like, I thought they're bugs. Shouldn't they have like a whole bunch of kids at once? Do you just like shoot? Do you just like shoot over their eggs like a chicken? I don't know what's going on. Like,
no, it's just one. It's just one.
What's going on?
One purple bug guy, and what I thought was pretty smart was that they made it so this kid that's half bug, half Viltrumite grows up way faster than normal, so like they're gonna be able to actually use him and not just keep him a baby for the rest of the show. Like I would imagine when season 3 comes out, the bug baby is going to be like kind of like a young teenager, I would bet, or maybe a like a 10-year-old or something, or I don't remember how old he said he was in the show, but he's going to be able to be actually used, which I thought that was a cool little twist they did.
Well, the bugs live for a year, I think they said, like one
Yeah, I
Earth,
was like,
like
yeah, like
one
a
Earth
year.
year, and the kid was like 2 or 3 year old,
Yep,
and apparently less than a year, based on how fast he grows and the age of his mother and whatnot.
he's a fast-growing baby.
So
Fast-growing baby.
so 3 years to 1 year. So in 2 years he'd be 6, in 3 years he'd be 9. I mean, granted, they're gonna be there's gonna be weird sliding scale probably, but I mean,
They'll just do whatever they need to.
given what we've seen, like he's like a 2 to 3 year old after like less than a year. So if you round that up to a year, say 3, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. I mean, it's a cartoon. It's a superhero show. They could just accelerate that really fast in like 6 months. Oh, he's a teenager. It just
He's
keeps
an
getting
adult now.
faster.
He's
It
older
just
than Mark.
keeps getting faster. Yeah.
That planet does have one of the coolest fights that happen in the whole show is when the Viltrumites come and attack Omni-Man.
Mhm.
And this is where I kind of like Omni-Man became not as cool to me after this fight, because in my head, after everything we've seen, Omni-Man is just like this guy that's just like untouchable. Like he's basically Superman. And I thought like he only broke away from like Viltrum because he's just so much stronger and he doesn't care, he doesn't believe, and then he's just going to become like kind of like an Earth person. But then the Viltrumites roll in to like kind of take him and kill him, or they're either going to kill him or they're going to take him as like their prisoner. And it turns out the other Viltrumites are like just as strong as him. Like he's not anything like really special. It seems like he is a little bit better at fighting than your standard Viltrumites, but once there's like 3 of them, it's like he doesn't stand like a chance.
No.
So that was kind of disappointing that Omni-Man isn't like, the Superman. So
Well,
there are other ones that are strong.
Well, I mean, they're all strong. That's the whole point. Like the Viltrumites are basically space space Spartans.
Yeah, but he's our bad guy. He's our Omni-Man. He needs to be better and stronger than the other ones.
Because America.
Because now, well, see, the thing is, like, Omni-Man and J.K. Simmons is such a good voice actor. I'm sure this is part of it. But, like, Omni-Man was, like, our main villain. That was our villain in season 1. It's like, this is the guy that's causing all the trouble. But then, like, Viltrum comes in, it's like, oh, wait, it's not just Omni-Man. Omni-Man's, like, a side boss. The real boss is, like, Viltrum itself.
The entire world of Viltrum. And,
yeah.
I think that's where, like, the season kind of, like, didn't hit as hard for me, because there was no cliffhanger. Like it was just kind of like it just kind of stops, and it's like, oh, okay, well, there's more to do, but there was no like, oh my god! The entire last episode, I was like, when's it gonna hit? When's it gonna hit? Like because I knew it was the last episode, and then it just like nothing happened, and I'm like, wow. I texted Brian when I was done. I'm like, wow, this season ends in a whimper.
Well, it's because it ends in like it kind of loses its scale. This is where I'm knocking points down, is because it loses its scale. So when we're watching season 1, we just see Omni-Man and Cecil is maybe a bad guy, maybe not. He fights for the world or whatever. But once it became like the villain is a whole race of people that take over like universes, it's like what, like I can't like relate. I can't like, it's too big for me to like wrap my head around. It's like, okay, Mark Grayson is like one guy. Was he going to assemble like 6 people and go fight the entire race of Viltrum? So something like they're going to have to come up with some BS reason to like kill all of Viltrum or something. And it becomes too big for itself.
They're going to just have to find Viltrum's kryptonite. Viltrumite.
Maybe Watch will call it that. Viltrumite.
Viltrumite's weaknesses are Viltrumite. Oh wait, what?
What do you think of Alan? Did you think Alan was during the show mid-season around? Alan the alien gets into a fight with Viltrumites, and he doesn't fare very good. He pretty much dies.
He gets his eye knocked out, and then it makes it look like Optimus Prime pulls his plug because he's like on life support, and then he just wakes up jacked because he gets stronger from recovering on his
from
own
being
from.
incubated or whatever the
Yeah.
heck. I thought he for sure he was gonna die, and I was kind of sad because I do like Alan, but I don't know if now it seems like they just like buffed him to the point where he's equal with like one Viltrum.
Yeah.
So I don't know like
Well,
how strong he's gonna be
well, that's going to
against
be
like
the team.
multiple of them.
It's going to be Mark, Omni Man, and Alan, and then
Yeah,
and
three
then
people are gonna take down an entire race of humans or not humans, alien Superman people.
next season, Alan will be beat up by 3 or 4 Viltrumites, get put on life support again, and then now he's
They're just gonna keep doing it.
yeah, they're just gonna keep buffing Alan. Just like the more he recovers from, he's almost like a Super Saiyan or whatever. Like the more you get the shit beat out of you,
He just gets stronger and
he's just
stronger.
stronger and stronger.
It's actually at the end, the final episode is just going to be him fighting everybody. Everybody else is dead.
He's gonna be galacticized. He's just gonna get bigger and bigger.
He's galactic size. He just eats planets.
He just like eats planet. He eats Viltrum. It's like, there we go. We've solved Invincible.
We solved that problem. That one's done. Some of the side characters, I liked Adam Eve in season 1. This season, she doesn't have too big of a role. She's kind of like, an emotional mess this season. So I wasn't too big on her. One character that did turn for me, though, was Rex. I think they're trying to make Rex like a guy people like. Because in the first season, the guy that throws the grenades out of his pockets or whatever, he's kind of sucks. He's kind of like a dickhead. And then this season, they go to like battle against these like small time criminals, and everybody pretty much dies except him.
That was the most surprising thing, and it was the middle of the season.
Yeah, it was because it wasn't. They're not like main characters. Like, what is Rex gonna do against a Viltrumite? It's like, sure, he can have a cool personality or whatever, but like, he's gonna get slaughtered by anybody. It just feels like I don't know how they're going to kill without doing some like weird ex machina stuff where it's just like the story needs to kill Viltrumite, so we'll just do whatever we have to make that happen. It feels more like what is Rex and his sidekick, like the multi girl, monster girl, like the robot? What are these people gonna do against like Viltrumite? They can't do anything. They're cool, but they're not that level.
I mean, they're gonna just have to run interference. I mean, I don't know what they're gonna do unless they like find this super serum to make them all stronger.
Yeah, they're on such a different level. Like Viltrumites and Mark and Alan the alien, they're all on such a different level than what the other characters are.
Well, yeah, that's what season 1, episode 1 told us, that Viltrumites are just way stronger than the Earth's mightiest heroes. Like, it's just
it's kind of like a Homelander situation where it's like, you have all these superheroes all over the place, but then there's Homelander who is just like significantly stronger than everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
That's a problem that I had. My favorite side story though, I didn't like the guy that was like going to Earth from Mars where he had all those little animals on him. I could care less about that story. That episode didn't get me going at all.
Yeah.
The episode that I was interested in was the guy with the big head, the big brain guy that like merged all his consciousnesses together, and he's like, I'm gonna kill Mark on my own. He like sends Mark through a bunch of different multiverses, and he gets him stuck on one, and he finally gets to kill the big brain guy, but then Mark gets stuck.
Yeah, well, I think the best part about that was the obvious Batman, the obvious Spider-Man, Dr. Octopus.
Yeah.
It was just like, here, how can we do it without like being like without breaking copyright? But it's obviously like
they're just poking fun at like Marvel's MCU.
So you're dressed as a bat and your name is Batman. Seems kind of lazy. It
was. I mean, it was just a solid episode because he does feel like a threat to Mark. It didn't feel like he was just like, your run of the mill villain. It felt like, if this guy was smart enough, he can actually kill Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Which is cool because when you just have one character that's weak versus one character that's strong, it doesn't feel like there's any power dynamic. But when two people are kind of equal, it makes out for a cool episode.
Yeah. I thought that was a solid episode. Yeah, that was one of the more solid, and that's what I mean. Like it was like a multiverse sort of story that just wasn't terrible. Like it was fine. It was fine. It was well thought out, and it wasn't just overbearingly stupid. It worked.
Yeah.
For
what
me.
Do you think Omni-Man's actual was his goal the entire time to maybe in season 1 it wasn't this, but it seems like Omni-Man is kind of switched from taking over Earth to now he doesn't really want to be part of anything. He doesn't, because he can't, he says himself he can't go back to Earth. So he's done with Earth. So he goes to this bug planet, but he's also being nice to the bug people. But Viltrum is supposed to just take over everything over. So is he just like ignoring the prime directive of his people now and he's just kind of like rogue? We don't really know what Omni-Man wants at this point.
Well, Omni-Man was there to fulfill his directive. He started fulfilling the directive in season 1, and then his son changed his mind.
Yeah.
And now he's got a conscience because he does care for his son, apparently. So I mean, like he
doesn't want to just cause. Well, see,
yeah,
the reason I bring that up is because he has these books. I missed this in season 1. I didn't know that Omni-Man was like
an
wrote
author,
15 books. I didn't know he did that.
This is my favorite concept of the entire season. That he wrote. Yeah, that he wrote a whole bunch of science fiction books that are actually that are actually like fact.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
That was a really cool concept for the story, for the thing, and then the fact that and then they never caught on, even though they're like based, because of course like people don't like reading history or whatever. That's boring.
Yeah, that is boring. And the books are kind of like relate to. They're like I don't remember the names. Obviously, I'm not good with names, but I don't remember exactly what the stuff was. But it was like the books he would have would like, this is a super weapon, and he would have this super sci-fi name for this weapon. He's like kind of explaining what it does and where it is, and it turns out like all this stuff that he's writing about is actual stuff that he's encountered on like his travels throughout like the universe and space.
Oh, they're gonna flood the Viltrumite planet with those dog things that like are stronger than Viltrumites because they're from a gravity planet.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, only one planet. They need Viltrum has taken over more than one planet. They'll put it on their home world. The home world, Viltrum. Mm-hmm. That's where it'll go. But yeah, the book. I really like the book idea. That was a good part. Alan was also good. The fight with, you can tell that Mark is still not like on like a high level fighting, because I think it's towards the end of see all these episodes blend together when you watch all of them at once. But Mark at the end has to fight a female Viltrumite, mm-hmm. and she kind of is telling him like, hey, listen here, bucko, if you don't get this Earth planet figured out for us, we're just gonna come here and like kill everybody that you love. And that's kind of a cool fight, because they fight on, there's like a cruise ship. Yeah. They fight on like a cruise ship, a beach, and Mark just gets like beat up again. Somehow Mark keeps surviving. There's also Cecil and his like crony guy with the glasses. He goes through like a whole mental health like crisis where he's actually turns out that he's just a robot.
Yeah, he's been a robot for like years because he keeps dying over and over and over and over again.
I do like Cecil. I like what Cecil's doing. The problem is Cecil's not like Cecil has all this like tech that's like cool just to see like what he's gonna do, like what bombs or what weapons or what creatures he has to fight people, or how they're gonna like kind of twist the story a little bit with like they showed the vision thing where it's like you bring them into a room and the room's just white, and the only reason you can't see what's actually in the room is because like all the people that live on the planet are all poisoned, so they can't see this like version of light. It's like that kind of stuff is like cool, and you don't see it a lot. Mm-hmm. So I like that they have them for that. But at the end of the day, it's again, Cecil's just like that. Viltrum is just on a different level, so Cecil's never really going to be able to do anything. Yeah. But yeah, it's cool tech. I like Cecil and his tech.
Yeah, and then like we had the obligatory Mark breaks up with his girlfriend, or his girlfriend breaks up with him because she can't handle the stress of being under constant.
I mean, to be fair to her, I wouldn't want to deal with that either.
Well, I wouldn't want to deal with that either. But I just like the whole Mark Adam Eve thing seemed like
it's obvious that's where it's gonna go.
I mean, it was obvious in season 1, so it was just kind of like just waiting finally for Mark and
Adam Eve, and that's also. But I probably said this the first time we podcast, but that's a really cool name. I really like Adam Eve. It's such a clever name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
for like her abilities.
You did, yes.
I probably did say that, but yeah, it's obviously going to be Adam Eve. His girlfriend's not really even a I don't really care about her like at all. I don't like. It seems like it was just shoehorned in to make Mark's life more difficult.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like to me. I don't know. That obviously wasn't going to work out, especially since I mean, it's same thing saying with right now in the show, Mark is supposed to be going to college, which I don't know why his parents were like, yeah, do this, go to college. You're the like literal Superman, but like just go to college and get a degree because someday you're gonna need it. And they dedicate time to actually like figuring this out. Like his mom and him have a conversation about like Mark, you should go to school and get your degree because like who knows if you ever need it. And he's just like, Mom, I can fly to a different planet right now. Like I don't need a college degree, which I don't think they should have spent any time. That kind of bogged it down a little bit for me as well
Yeah.
because it's like it doesn't like why, he doesn't need school. He's Superman.
Yeah. I mean, this season just didn't advance the plot as much as I was hoping it would. It didn't have any huge cliffhangers. There was definitely some cool moments, but like it definitely felt like dragged a little bit. I mean, granted, it's character development. It's good. I just hope things ratchet up a little bit for season 3.
That doesn't
this
bother me as much because I'm pretty sure we're getting at least 2 more episodes or 2 more seasons right now. Season 3 and 4 are both greenlit. At least 3 is for sure. 100% I know we're getting 3. I'm pretty sure on 4. So I mean, I don't want to just start wrapping stuff up right now. Where if we're still gonna get 2 more seasons of this.
Well, I'm not saying I want stuff wrapped up. I just wish it felt really fillery, like this, like you're talking about the school thing, and just like really, they just had lots of like conversations that just kind of like
it didn't matter, especially the Mars guy. I did not like that episode at all with all those bugs and god, that was such a stupid episode.
It's like here, let's do the callback to the season 1 thing. It's like, oh, we got him.
Yeah, he's still an ongoing. It's like this guy was never gonna get to Earth. And even if one of those bug things get to Earth, it's going to be a minor inconvenience. Like that's not like the bug thing. Even if the bug things take over Earth, it still doesn't matter because Viltrum wants to just take over the whole planet, and those bug things are not going to be able to beat like 20,000 Viltrumites. So it just feels like it doesn't like that just doesn't matter, and I didn't find it interesting at all. That was by far my least favorite episode.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite character? Ooh, he's thinking. He's thinking hard. Don't hurt him. Don't hurt yourself. I'm your inner monologue.
Yeah, my favorite character is the earthquake guy. He came back. He came back and attacked the Washington Monument.
Oh man, that's like saying, "Oh, my favorite character is Monster Girl. She's the best." Monster Girl's my favorite.
No, I mean, I mean, Mark, Adam, Eve, and Alan are up there for me. I mean, and then Omni Man because he's J.K. Simmons. J.K. Simmons is just amazing.
Yeah, I like Omni Man and Alan are definitely those are my top 2. I do like Adam Eve as well. I think she's a cool character. Her abilities are really cool. It's a lot. I will say they do a good job with the abilities in this show. Each one feels like it's kind of like its own thing. A lot of times in like the boys, they'll just bring up somebody and they'll have their superpower is just like being gross, just for the sake of like being gross. These ones feel like feels like the boys writers are sitting there. They're like, okay, this guy, we want to make him like Spider-Man, but like let's make like a super realistic like spider sack on his back, and like he's gonna use that. For this show, it seems like they actually put more thought into like, okay, how can we make each character a little bit different? What's their pros? What's their cons? What's their flaws? Like Monster Girl, every time she turns into a monster, she turns into like a little baby. She turns into a baby.
Well, no, she gets younger every single time she turns.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. She's like going backwards in time, and then the robot guy is like, I have a way to fix this, and she's like, I'm not sure if I want to do that or not. It's like, come on, dude, like bring us back to Mark. You two are a bunch of bozos.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's where we're at least I'm having problems with the show is that it just feels like everything that is not Viltrum focused does not matter. I think that's part of the problem.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, they were all there in season 1, and they played an important part in season 1, so they're trying to keep them around.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Ghostbusters Frozen Empire thing. It's just like they've got all these characters from the last movie. They wanted to keep them in there, but like, do they matter?
They serve no purpose.
No, not
at all.
really, not really. But you know.
So I guess our recommendation, or my recommendation, is to trim up some of these characters. They don't need to be in them as much, or if they are, make them all like Rex, where they have this dramatic,
Character,
interesting human like related thing that they're going through, where they change as a person, rather than like a giant thing that like a human can't relate to. Because once the story becomes like too big for like humans to like, it's like trying to explain like how big space is, like to a human. Like you can tell me there's this whole universe with 1 billion planets in it. It's like that means like I can't like, I understand that's big, but I can't like understand like just how big it is.
Yeah.
We're getting deep philosophical.
You know, I mean, it happens once in a while in Synthaholics. The philosophical.
So yeah, that's I think that's my take on Invincible. I think this is it's another solid season. I would continue watching it. If you haven't watched season, well, we pretty much just spoiled everything. But like, if you haven't watched it, while you're listening, leave a comment. If you have watched it, I'm assuming you're probably going to watch season 3. I don't think anybody. I don't know. I have no idea what reviews are for this, but I enjoyed it. Maybe there's something I'm missing, but I thought it was good. I would go see it.
It's weird. I haven't gone looking for anyone talking about this, but I also haven't seen it pop up like at all.
Well, did this come out in like December?
Still, like I don't remember any discourse about this show at all. But I mean, I wasn't looking for it either. But
we're like 10 months late on this show,
which is fine by me because it took way too long for season 2 to even come out in the first place. So
yeah, so we'll show you, whoever makes this show. If you take a long time to make it, we'll take a long time to talk about it.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Oh man, so things in the pipeline: Rings of Power, House of the Dragon. Don't know when or how soon they're coming, but they're in the pipeline.
Yeah. They're in the pipeline. We're building a new pipe right now. We try to plan ahead.
We had to circumvent Russia, so we got to build a new pipeline.
Yeah, we're working our way around. Well, the thing is, it's like we try to find things that, one, we're interested in watching for the most part, and then 2, something that isn't gonna be like just not something that's going to be a good conversation about. Like there are things we've just I don't want to spoil what things we've talked about, but we have brought up movies and TV shows that we've watched or would watch, but it turns out that they're not the greatest to podcast on. So there's stuff. If you guys have any suggestions, if you want us to watch,
yeah, you can.
My ears are open. I can't promise anything.
Yeah, you can drop those in the comments. If you've got if there's something you want to hear our take on specifically, there's that. Specifically.
Yeah, like the like when we watched RRR, I'm gonna butcher it again. We got yelled at for calling RRR a Bollywood movie, but like if you have any Bollywood movies that you think are cool or whatever the heck the other kind of Bollywood movies or whatever the heck it's actually called that are good, let us know, because I think both of us really, I know for a fact both of us really enjoyed RRR.
RRR was fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, and I would like to watch another movie like that, but like I don't know that culture. I don't even know where to look. I've looked at both the main characters in RRR, like IMDb, and I don't know what, like, they don't seem to be working on anything, or if they are, it's not out yet. So I can't just follow those two, and I don't know where else to look.
Well, you just gotta watch Corridor Crew and see if there's any other Bollywood things that they talk about. Yeah, because that's what we found about RRR. That's where I heard about it anyway.
Fantastic movie.
That's
where I also heard about it.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, watch season 2 and watch season 3 of Invincible, because I make money if you do.
Oh,
I work on Invincible now.
Oh, Brian's one of the new animators, I guess.
I don't know how to. I'm the guy that's in the. I draw the background where I just like I take the paint I just take paint and pick a color and then just pick the background.
Oh yeah, that's an important
I'm that
job.
guy. I'm that guy. So if you see
That's an
like a
important
blue
job.
sky, I just hit the paint bucket and I change it to blue.
It's a very important job on that show. So,
I don't. That's probably not even how they do it.
you know, who
Oh
knows?
man.
I mean, you do it, so you know that's what you do, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. My
Yeah.
bad. I'm not kidding about that. I that is what they do. So if you see Invincible where
Paint
the
bucket.
background's blue or the water's blue and I'm only getting blue because my background is blue. Sometimes there's a forest and there's trees that are green. I'm the guy that like puts the paint bucket on the green and then just, sometimes you
Still,
gotta go through like 15 different colors of green before you find the right tree color.
yeah, yeah, it's hard.
I'm
Hard
making
work.
fun of animation, but I understand it's extremely hard to do and I couldn't do it.
Extremely hard to do. Anyway, until next time, guys. Hopefully, it won't be another like 6 weeks, but until next time.
Email
I'm
David
Dave.
at synthaholics@yahoo.com.
Absolutely. And until next time, we'll see you. Take care, guys.